Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and besides having a super sunburned face, I have a lot of really great things to talk to you guys about. This video, as soon as I'm done with the chit chat, is going to be a review on this pattern and this yarn. But before I get to that, I'm going to get to the news, the updates. First of all, I finally have a P.O. box. I know, it took me forever. So I'll tell you all right now, if you want to quick get a little piece of paper and a scratch pad. Ready? P.O. Box 2092, Oshkosh, Wisconsin, 54902. Now, of course, that will be in this box right down below. There'll be a show more or a little arrow, and you'll click on it, and that P.O. box will be in there forever now. John, I want to say from South Carolina, was the first person to get the P.O. box. I got it on Tuesday. Finally, when he emailed me, I'm like, girl, just get your act together and get a P.O. box. I mean, I go to the post office enough to do shipping. I don't know why, I don't know. So anyway, that's that. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you all about, I just got a message, and I haven't talked very much about the shenanigans occurring with Ravelry. I did mention it in my Facebook group, Summer's Tips and Stitches on Facebook. But I am going to help support the development of Fiberocity. I'll put a link in the description to the group. It is officially open today, July 4th. Happy 4th of July, y'all. And at this point, it's mostly forums, being able to create your profile, get your avatar up, and things of that nature. So I created my profile already, and it's Summer's Tips and Stitches. And not to be confused with Summer Stitches. Apparently, there's somebody out there with Summer Stitches. It's Summer's Tips and Stitches. And so I also will put a link in this box below to the GoFundMe, because in order for them to start creating the database and to get a bunch of patterns and to get all that wonderful hoopla, it's going to cost them some money. So I'll put a link to the GoFundMe, and don't worry, you guys, this is very heavily supported. She had put in her GoFundMe that she needed $12,000, and she's already over halfway there, and that's just with 183 donators. So I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description to Fiberocity. I'm going to put a link in the description to the GoFundMe. Now, as of right yet, I'm not going to completely cancel my Ravelry. I am not 100% sure how I feel about all the shenanigans that have occurred. And I'm not really the type to be like, I'm going to take my patterns and go. Well, first of all, I haven't even entered any patterns on there. And as you all know, I print everything up. So all the patterns that are in my library, I've already printed up a paper copy, and I have tucked away in a binder over here. And I did just spend quite a bit of time putting in a bunch of my patterns. And then I did do a video for you all on how to, navigate a little bit with Ravelry. So I'm not in the part of I'm not feeling like I want to pack up my crayons and head off, pack up my yarn and go. But I may not use it as frequently. I'm really going to give this Fiberocity a big shout out, and I'm going to give them a big go, and I'm going to really see what they have to offer, and I am going to donate. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, so that's that. P.O. Box, Fiberocity. Now on to the video. This shawl that I'm waving around the pattern for is called the Lion Brand it's used with Lion Brand Ombre Life, and it's the shaded color shawl. I'll put a link in the description. The pattern number is L80003. That's 3 zeros and a 3. L80003. It is definitely a skill level easy. What I did to make this pattern easier for myself, after starting it, when I got to the 4 rows that you repeat throughout the pattern, I wrote them here on the bottom, and I just kept this one page. I looked at the diagram, and I just copied those 4 rows. Then I got the hang of it about halfway through, and I was able to remember which rows I chained 6 on, chained 3, or chained 4. And this is the gorgeous shawl. You guys, I am loving it. Isn't that beautiful? It is such a beautiful fade. The yarn is a beautiful fade. The pattern, I just love the solidness of these rows with the windows or whatever. And of course, as you know, Juanita looks gorgeous in it. It wraps up nicely. If you're someone who is a little bit on the larger side like me, it still works very nice as over the shoulder or wrapped around your neck. If you are a thin lady, you are in luck because this will wrap nicely over your shoulders, around your neck. You can wear it like a skirt. You can wear it diagonal. It is just a gorgeous, gorgeous shawl. And I'm telling you that I am completely in love with this yarn. This yarn, Ombre Life from Lion Brand, unfortunately, is not at my Walmart. I'll pull Juanita in here real close so you can keep looking at her beautiful shawl. So sadly, it's not at my Walmart. It's not at my Joann's. I don't know if it's at Michael's. So at this point, I was able to buy 2 skeins for $4.99 at the Hirschner store. When I went up with Deb from Knit and Deb's Nook to the Hirschner's warehouse sale, we then went into the store. And I bought 2 skeins of this, and that's when they printed off the pattern for free and gave it to me. So I was very happy with their service. But I'm going to tell you, I love this yarn. It's not I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby, but I love this yarn. There is a lot of great things I'd like to tell you about it. It is 4 very thin threads held together to make this yarn. It is a very light yarn. The one thing I do want to say is that in making this, it called for a, I want to say 3.5 or 3.25 hook. I'm looking, but I used a bigger hook. I wish I would have written it down. I knew I was going to tell you guys this. Well, 3.5. They called for a 3.5. I bumped it up to a 4. And the reason I did that is because after doing the armor shawl and having such a significant amount of yarn left, and that's Holly from the Proper Pineapple, and I used her required hook size, and it was small, I decided I must have tight tension when working with fingering yarn. So I then bumped it up to a 4 hook. And I was very happy because if you have the Clover Amours, it's a purple hook, and I was crocheting with purple. It was very smooth. I really loved working with it. It never felt too hot in my lap while I was crocheting. I love the change. So when they're changing from one color to another, what happens is you'll have 4 strands of this color. And as they're lightening to this, if you can see right here, what they do is they add 1 strand of the lighter with the 3 darker. And then they add 2 strands and the 1 darker. I'm going to hold that right up so you can sort of see that. Do you see that in there? And then it finally got to be 4 lighters. Now, in this white section, or this very light purple, that's when I had to switch to the second cake. And then it transitioned to having 3 of the light, 1 of the dark, 2 of the dark, 2 of the light, 3 of the light, and that's how it did it. It transitioned with the number, with the color and the number of strands until I got 4 of the dark. Now I really wish I would have had more of the dark. I loved it. Now I'm going to cover up Juanita again. So like I said, I loved it. Now I'm going to tell you the one really horrible thing that happened. So I did a center pull for the second cake. For the first one, I did an outer one, and it just, you know, slowly declined like it should. For the second cake, I wanted to start with the lighter color to match so it would continue. And like I said, I started with a centerfold, and then I had to carry it with me to the skate park so my son could skateboard. And folks, the cake, because it had gotten, you know, when the center pull, the inside comes out, it collapsed in on itself. And then I put it, and then when I took it out of my bag, it got tangled. Now, this yarn is a nightmare when it gets tangled. it just, because you have all those 4 little strands, and so some of those strands got tangled in amongst the others because it's loose. They're not like twisted together like regular yarn. It's just 4 strands together. And I ended up spending 1 hour while my child was at the skate park trying to untangle. And you know what I did, y'all? I just ended up snapping it. Just ripped it. Pulled out the knotted part, ripped that out, and joined my yarn. So I wasn't very happy about that. As you all, if you watched the last video, you'll know I don't have the patience for untangling. And after spending 1 hour trying to untangle it, so if you are going to do something like maybe the center pull, don't travel with it, because once it collapsed on itself and somehow got tangled, it was a disaster. Now the other cake, the first cake, I did an outer pull and I never had any tangling. Everything was fine. So I don't believe it to be the fault of the yarn. It was specifically my fault for traveling with less than, you know, with like 20% of the yarn still, you know, and then it collapsed on itself and it got tangled. So I probably should have just laid it down and left it and not taken it to the skate park with me. But I was antsy to finish it. I was really antsy, and I really love it, and I think it's beautiful, and I think the yarn is beautiful, and the gradient is beautiful, and the light purple matched the darker purple skein perfectly. I love it. I want to go hoard this yarn. If I could find a store within 20 minutes of me that carried this yarn, I would probably buy like 10 skeins of it. I know. I'm not even concerned that it's $4.99 a skein. It is such a nice, lovely cotton. Now, I do remember specifically Sandy has asked me to recommend a light cotton, and I have seen this throughout my videos, and I'm going to tell you guys, I recommend this light cotton. This is a light drapey cotton for a beautiful, if you're making yourself a shawl, a wedding shawl, or a light summer shawl. I really do recommend it. Do you see how nice and light it is? And how loose the fabric is? I am completely sold on it. I love it. Unfortunately, Hirschner's did not have very many, and I'm not going to drive to Stevens Point to get more. So I'm just going to keep my eyes open. I might check Amazon and buy some of it from there if they have any. But yes, I love this yarn. Have I said that enough? And I love this pattern. I really do. I really do love this pattern. It was nice and easy. It was quick. Double crochets and chains, that's all it was. And once I wrote out those 4 rows, it was very easy for me to keep following it. Here's the back of Juanita with her beautiful shawl. So yeah, that is that. That is my review of this yarn. Love it. Just don't get it tangled. Once you get it tangled, it's going to be a hot mess because it's 4 thin strands of yarn. Like threads almost. It's practically like thread. 4 strands of it. So when it tangled, it was a disaster. And again, this pattern is a very easy, beautiful shawl. Do you see that? Rows of double crochet, 3 rows of double crochet, a row of windows. Okay, I'm gonna lay this shawl out on the floor and take a picture so that you can see the shape of the shawl and so that you can see the color gradients. That's what I'm going to do for the thumbnail. I'm totally doing it this time. I know in the past I've said that and not done it, but this time I'm doing it. I'm laying it out and taking a picture. It is so beautiful. Okay, y'all, that's all I've got for this video. Remember, I have a P.O. box now. And check out Fiberocity. Even if you don't feel that you are financially able to donate, please check them out. At the very least, it's another site that you can get patterns from. We're all part of multiple, we're all part of multiple social medias. So even if you're not unhappy with the shenanigans that's going on with Ravelry, still join it. It will be nice to have another, be a part of another community. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I have this YouTube account, I have the Ravelry account, and now I've got the Fiberocity account. So there it is. All right, thanks for watching and subscribing. Thanks for liking and sharing my videos. And until then, happy crafting. Bye.